Ridiculous Crime is a production of iHeartRadio.
Zaron.
Elizabeth.
Zaron, how are you?
I'm really good.
You good?
I'm happy to say that.
You really are. You're
really
good.
Yeah.
Oh, thank goodness.
How about you? How you feeling? How you doing?
I'm all right.
How you be, girl?
You know what? Above ground and getting paid, as I like to say. That's me. Do you know what's ridiculous?
Yes, I do.
Oh.
Have you ever heard of the Kentucky meat shower?
Is that like a euphemism?
No, it's a thing.
It's an actual literal thing.
Between 11 a.m. and noon on March 3rd, 1876, chunks of meat fell from the sky over Olympia Springs in Bath County, Kentucky. And it was like big chunks of meat. Like we're talking...
Like stew beef?
Yeah, apparently this farm wife, she went outside and... her husband thought it was like a sign of God, right? And he said that it was snowing meat. That's how he described it.
Oh, God. It was nightmare.
The pieces of meat were 2 by 2 inches or 5 centimeters by 5 centimeters.
Sure.
And one of them was at least 4 inches by 4 inches or 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters. These are big chunks of meat.
Yeah.
Some people thought it was beef. Some people thought it was lamb. Some people thought it was deer. 2 men who tasted it, they judged it to be lamb or deer. They tasted
slightly
the
gamey.
meat.
Well, did they cook
fell
it?
out of the sky.
Did they cook it first?
No, they just picked it up and like, let me taste that.
Little tartare.
That tastes like deer to me. So accordingly, this guy, Dr. Alan McLean Hamilton, from the medical record, he stated that the meat had been identified as lung tissue from either a human being or a human or from a human. So either horse or human, right? Yeah. So. He said about the structure of the organ in these 2 cases being almost identical, right? So the New York Times described it as cosmic meat because that's what some of the locals were kind of joking about. So some humorist, this guy, Kurt Goda, apparently, he had this theory that it was cosmic meat. Other locals, they thought the meat had been vomited by either black or turkey vultures, so black vultures or turkey vultures, and because apparently they do that when they're stressed, they vomit out what they just
I'm so glad
eaten
those
so they can
dudes
fly.
Tasted it,
right? Just so we could all know that's science.
And they didn't even say it was what it was. They got it wrong.
They said
it was like human lung kebab. And,
totally. They thought it was lamb or deer.
That tastes like venison.
You know, some people also pointed out that it could have been like, had like sinew also. So it could have been like, basically human gristle and what have you. So I have a theory, Elizabeth. Thank you for asking.
I'm desperate to know.
It was a time traveler who got their coordinates wrong and just got destroyed across the atmosphere.
I like that.
And they fell down in bits and pieces.
That makes the most sense.
Because if you think about it, the planet's moving, and say you do some time travel, if you don't get your coordinates exactly right, you could end up in the atmosphere, you could end up in the center of the Earth. You're not going to necessarily land on the surface.
That's got to be it.
The whole planet's moving. So, I mean, you got to really get your coordinates right. So, if you're off by just a little bit, maybe early experimentation, all of a sudden you just slid a person across the atmosphere and you got a meat shower.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think that's the only explanation. I mean, my theory...
Time travel.
My theory, I mean, it's not as like, it's right in front of us. Why didn't we think it? Is that there was an inventor in the area who invented the first wood chipper.
Oh, like a meat cannon.
And fell into it.
Oh, wow. That's brutal.
And then broke it while it was spraying him all over.
Yeah, making the meat shower.
And then no one could find it. So, they had to go all that time till you could get the wood chipper reinvented.
Now, I love that theory. And I cannot promise you that I will not in the future comically refer to, as a euphemism, a Kentucky meat shower. Sounds like the old Kentucky meat shower, if you ask me,
I don't even
Elizabeth.
want to know what that would be a euphemism for.
Probably something I order at a restaurant that I go to.
Yeah.
What is this, Kentucky meat shower?
No, that's like when you're eating a burrito, but it's like one of those disgusting, like, no offense to those who like it, but the ground beef burrito,
sure.
And you trip,
and you go,
and it spills down the sidewalk.
Oh, like that,
out of the burrito. That's a Kentucky meat shower.
I like that
because, like, it's like sort of gringo to do ground beef in a burrito.
Oh, is it? I don't know.
I don't know.
I get beans.
I don't know. That's just what I'm hearing in my earpiece right now. That's
so
ridiculous. I love that. Thank you. Do you want to know what else is ridiculous?
Please.
Being powered by vibes.
Yeah.
This is Ridiculous Crime, a podcast about absurd and outrageous capers, heists, and cons. It's always 99% murder-free and 100% ridiculous.
This I know you done heard.
Yes. Con men, right?
Yeah,
you know
them.
what those are.
Totally.
You know.
Especially when they aim up.
They traffic in vibes.
This is true. It's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, let's just put that out there. They create vibes that get people engaged.
Mm-hmm.
People want in on vibes.
They're vibe criming.
They're total vibe criming. It's interesting because on Tuesday you were talking about scientists.
Yes, this is true.
And our cycles have synced once again,
what?
sister.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a scientist for you.
Really? Look at us, girlfriend.
He's an old-timey con man, and he used both vibes in his behaviors and in his con itself.
Ooh, yes.
Zaron. Meet John Ernst Worrell Keely.
Oh, it's a mouthful of a name.
Yeah. So Keely.
Any relation to Jean-Claude Keely, the skier? No?
That's his stepsister.
Okay, there we go.
So
Thank you.
I'm going to call him Keely. Like when you yell at yourself and say Burnett. Okay, so Keely. Okay, so
respect.
Someone referred to me in an email today as just Dutton.
Really?
Yeah, and I was like, Dutton, get it together.
Did you read it out loud like that?
I did, actually. Keely, born 1837 in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
He was raised by his grandparents because, he was orphaned young. Not a lot of information out there otherwise, but what we do know is that he was raised in really modest circumstances, and he had only a very limited formal education.
Okay.
So he wasn't like one of your highfalutin scientists who goes off to MIT and Dartmouth and what have you.
Whatnot.
This guy and the whatnots and the who's-its. So he had a bunch of different jobs in his early adult years. He was a carpenter, kind of like Jesus. He was a painter, kind of like you.
Hey, look at that.
He was a carnival barker, kind of like Dave.
Producer D.
And then he was a musician who played in various orchestras in and around Philadelphia, which is a term.
Yeah.
Who saw that coming?
Kind of like Tom Lee and Travis Dutton.
Precisely. So these gigs established him in two skills that would absolutely become indispensable in his later, let's call them fraudulent enterprises. He had this dexterity with mechanical apparatus.
Okay. So
and you see that tools. With, musical instruments and tools.
Sure.
And then he had this crazy charisma, and he could beguile even the most skeptical observer.
This kid was mad rizzed up, huh?
Oh my God. Like Riz City. That's it. Is that the new Grand Theft Auto Riz City?
Riz City. Yeah.
Or what's your Raccoon Escape from Raccoon City or whatever that is?
Mm-hmm.
What was that?
Welcome to Raccoon City.
Yeah. So, but it was like a video game movie? I don't know. Whatever it was.
The Resident Evil. Welcome to Raccoon City.
Riz City. So to understand Keely, we have to understand Philadelphia.
Oh, do we?
In the mid-19th century.
The city of brotherly shove.
To know Keely is you have to know Philly. This was a city that was absolutely electrified by technological progress. This is the age of steam. Zaron.
Oh, okay, yes.
It had transformed industry, and then all these inventors are popping up. They want attention and they want money. They want that capital.
Yeah.
Enter John Ernst Worrell Keely. So he had this boldness, and it kind of like bordered on the theatrical.
Okay.
In the way that he presented
himself. When you say theatrical, I'm thinking like P.T. Barnum, like where he's like got the carnival barker.
It's more like flourishes is in my mind.
Okay, I like this.
So he was this large, like mountain of a man, powerfully built. He had this really commanding physical presence and like a booming, deep, sonorous voice.
Yes.
And that magnetic self-assurance, the confidence that everyone trusted him.
Okay.
So around 1872, he starts attracting attention because he claimed that he had discovered an entirely new and inexhaustible source of energy.
Oh, yes. Love a good free energy story.
It. And he called this etheric force.
Oh, yes. I'm familiar.
Yeah.
I've seen this reference.
Well, so the term, like, it evoked what was really current at that time, this scientific concept of luminiferous ether.
The ether, yes.
Hypothetical medium through which light waves were believed to propagate.
100%.
So Keely was like, I can manipulate the vibrational properties of water and air.
Look at me now. Watch me cook.
And I can release a force of like unimaginable power from virtually any substance.
Like, you think lightning's cool?
And all powered by vibes.
That's right.
All vibes. Zaron, the claim was staggering.
I'm already staggered.
So he said that, he's like, with this single quart of water, and he would hold something up.
A single quart of water.
He'd do his process on it. He'd do this whole thing.
Alakazam, alakazoo.
Yeah, vibes. And then
don't look at me, look at you.
He could generate enough pressure to drive a locomotive.
Wow.
And not just like a few feet down the track. I'm talking like a long trip.
Yeah, he's like, I'm creating nuclear energy out of this water.
Yes. So his spiel was like this confection of invented terminology.
Love that.
And like half-baked scientific concepts.
I am so jealous. I've always wanted to invent terminology and half-baked scientific concepts.
You would be so good.
I would like, come on.
You'd be so good.
Let me cook in the 1880s.
So he talked about vibratory sympathetic transmission. Quadruple negative harmonics.
Ooh, I love all of this.
This is like when people talk like this, my eyes glaze over.
They shut. Don't even say glaze over.
And so I'm just like, yeah, I totally understand what you're saying. Polar and dipolar differentiation.
Okay.
Etheric disintegration. Yeah, like dozens of these. Like,
totally. This guy's like a glossary.
Yeah. So to the uninitiated, people like me, they're impressed. They're like, that's technical.
Dude, that was a lot of syllables,
that's science. Actual physicists and engineers, they're like, this is nonsense.
They hate
this
that.
This is babble.
Yeah, they absolutely hate this.
And also, P.S., you're violating the laws of thermodynamics.
Yeah, Newton would be tearing his hair out.
Heads up on that, yeah. So Keely, he wasn't talking to physicists.
No,
though.
smart.
He was talking to fat cats.
Because they're critical, Elizabeth. They are fake news.
They know things.
They're just like, come on.
They've read books.
Yeah.
Keely's like, hey, wealthy industrialists.
You guys are suckers.
Investors. And, people who just have money burning a hole in their pocket and they want to get in on this like miraculous solution to the world's energy problems.
Yes.
Sounds familiar. They're like, we're in. Count us in, have my money.
Please, con me well.
The cornerstone of his public demonstrations was this machine that he called the hydropneumatic pulsating vacuo engine. And this evolved into different iterations. Sometimes he called it the vibratory generator.
It's my discombobulator.
Discombobulator. Vibratory generator.
Okay.
The Liberator. That was when he was like trying something like more marketing forward.
These are the people who made it hard to be Nikola Tesla. He's like, look, I got this thing that shakes and vibrates. They're like, no,
You'll
bro.
See. And then he finally settled on sympathetic transmitter.
Oh, that's good.
That's like that's my favorite Radiohead album.
The sympathetic transmitter.
So these devices, they're just absolute marvels of mechanical complexity. There's just tubes and valves and gauges and like resonating chambers. I don't know what that is. So Keely would run the machines and they would produce impressive phenomena. Like the gauges would show crazy pressure and metal bars looked like they were just bending by invisible forces.
Yes.
Weights were like lifted and thrusted.
Totally.
They
oscillating.
Hummed, they vibrated. They're like pulsing. It was so loud. Witnesses were always just like, I'm amazed and convinced. Like that's what they would say. So pretty soon.
And I'm going to stand back 10 feet.
Pretty soon. I've got steam burns. Pretty soon, Keely incorporated the Keely Motor Company.
Okay.
And offered shares to the public. And the response was over the top. Rich folks, regular citizens, everyone's throwing money at him. Everyone wants in. They dumped $5 million into it upon opening.
Real scientists must have been losing.
Oh, God. Which is like
get anything.
$133 million today.
Are you kidding me?
In today's dollars. If I'm like, I've got a discombobulator, and they're like, here, have $133 million. Thanks, guys.
Unbelievable.
So the most significant of his investors over the years was this woman.
I'm still tripping on that.
Mrs. Clara Jessup Bloomfield Moore.
Does everybody have crazy names?
Yes.
This is amazing.
It's how you get, that's your price of admission in this.
You got to have at least 4 names, and they all need to be good.
She's this rich Philadelphia widow. She's a woman of letters. She was smart. She was really smart. She was a wonderful philanthropist. I had all these art museums.
She's curious about the cutting edge.
Yeah. So she became his greatest champion and patron from the early 1880s onward.
Okay.
She invested to start $100,000 plus a monthly salary for him of $250.
Are you kidding?
So let's convert that.
Please, I need it converted.
That's a $3 million investment, and she was giving him like $8,000 a month.
Oh my God.
I know.
I'm telling you, it's so much more fun to be a con man.
So
you
much
hear it, right?
It's fun and easy. So she wrote articles defending him in scientific journals.
Oh Lord.
She wrote with all these like scientists like on his behalf, approached them. She published a full-length book in 1893 called Keely and His Discoveries, Aerial Navigation. And she was like, this is a breakthrough. Please, everybody, understand this.
He's the new Ben Franklin.
Yeah. Her advocacy gave him this like social and intellectual respectability that he couldn't get all by himself. So now, like, we do need to know that her support was not unconditional. So like over the years, she got really frustrated because he couldn't produce like a commercially viable engine.
Oh.
And she'd be like, what's going on here, pal?
It's shaking and making
and
noise.
And he'd be like,
but...
oh, hold on. And he'd reassure her because he's this crazy manipulator. And so he'd give her just enough evidence of progress to calm her down. And it was like, he's always on the verge of a breakthrough.
I just need to attach a belt to this, and then we can make propulsion.
I'm 2 weeks away. He's always 2 weeks away. And then 2 weeks comes and goes, lather, rinse, repeat.
I got a new idea for a carburetor.
Exactly. So Keely would demonstrate his fantastic machines to visitors, but under these really controlled circumstances. And he never allowed independent examination of the machinery while it was in operation.
Can't do that.
Like, visitors could watch, they could ask questions, they could record what they were seeing, like you'd write it down. But they couldn't open the devices. They couldn't like trace the flow of all the pressures.
Yeah.
Certainly couldn't conduct like physical measurements of anything.
It's proprietary information, sir.
In essence, these people are going to the theater.
Yeah.
Like they can't do anything. So
it's like watching an automaton play chess.
Yes. But it wasn't a bunch of rubes that he let into the workshop.
I bet not.
They're like smart, professional engineers.
Like engineers, what I was guessing.
Physicians, journalists. So a lot of them came away totally convinced. Some were like just really puzzled, confused. I mean, it looked like his stuff was functioning. Gauges showed pressures in like thousands of pounds per square inch. There was this large iron sphere that was like could reportedly restrain a team of horses.
Okay, so he's generating enough.
Yeah, a device called a globe
your...
motor that spun in perpetual motion.
A globe motor.
Everything was really physically impressive. So the question...
And this is all like some Jules Verne level technology. It's a lot of steam
exactly.
and vacuum tubes. Not vacuum tubes, but vacuums.
So the question that investigators like couldn't ever resolve was the source of the energy driving this.
That's my question.
That's a good question. Thank you for asking. So Keely had all these techniques to manage the skeptics. He would refuse to operate the machines if the vibrations in the room were, quote, inharmonious. The vibes are off.
Vibes ain't right in here.
No, vibes are off.
Shut it down.
Vibes are off. Same, right?
Yeah,
like
totally.
Vibes are off. He calls it off.
That's how you operate.
Yes. So he limited his physical proximity of the visitors to the machinery. And he would do these like acts of telekinesis or like force transmission using tuning forks and like strings.
Well, tuning forks are wild because you can pass a vibration in the air. And if you don't know, you're like, how did he do that?
So obviously there's a lot of trickery going on, but people wanted it to be true. They wanted miracle and wonder.
Okay.
So by the late 1870s, the shareholders in the motor company, they're getting impatient. He'd been promising commercial production of the engine for years.
Years at this point.
Yeah, but then nothing. 1881, a group of shareholders brought legal action against him. They wanted to force either production of a working engine or accounting of the invested funds. And he was like, look, my discoveries are so delicate and so sensitive to external vibrations that I can't demonstrate them under adversarial conditions.
You guys are bumming me out.
Yeah, they're
pissing my machines off.
You're harshing my mellow. How do you argue against that?
So they're like, we want blueprints or receipts. And he's like, no, bro, the like, auras are not right.
Tranquilo. Let's take a break.
Okay.
Go to commercial. When we come back, we're going to see how he plays this all out. All right, so Zaron.
Hey.
Vibes.
Loving the vibes.
The vibes are not off right now.
No, they feel really good in here.
So we can keep going.
A lot of back and forth, a lot of give and take.
So Keely, right?
Uh-huh.
By the end of 1881, his stockholders were over it.
I bet.
They were done. On December 14th, 1881, they convened their annual meeting, and they formally read into the record this report that outlined just how over it they were.
Because they'd formed like basically a corporation. They got stockholder meetings.
They got stockholder,
okay.
yeah. So they're like, we still have faith in the inventions. And that's okay. I don't know why.
Yeah, exactly.
But guys, we're irritated at how secretive this whole thing is. And there's nothing to show for all of our patients.
Yeah, this steampunk is giving me nothing.
Right. It's so steampunk. And another thing in the report was how worried everyone was about what would happen if Keely got incapacitated or died.
Oh, because nobody knows.
He has no assistance, no backup. No one can look at anything.
That's a legitimate concern.
Yeah, so the report made public what had previously just been like whispers and private grumbles.
He's basically a wizard.
Pretty much.
And nobody has a spell book.
You don't step to the wizard. So that Keely's secrecy was not the reasonable precaution of a careful inventor, but like this deliberate strategy of a man who had something to hide. So early January 1882, the stockholders, they filed a bill of equity in Philadelphia's Court of Common Pleas.
Okay.
They wanted a court order that would force Keely to disclose the principles and operating methods of his motor.
Show your work, son.
Yes.
Okay.
His response was immediate and totally on brand.
What was his response?
It was crazy technical in nature, did not address the substantive merits of their complaints. Instead, he just raised all these procedural objections to the form and standing of the legal action itself. And he had all these reasons why the court should decline to grant the plaintiffs the relief they sought.
Is he like citing patent law and stuff?
Yeah,
Okay.
none of which engaged with the underlying question. Like, can you disclose your process?
Yeah, and does this stuff work?
So it goes to court. On April 1st, 1882,
fitting,
a judge overruled his response, issued an order directing him to make known his process in the way that was indicated in the bill filed by the Keely Motor Company. Now, the order did not specify in detail how the disclosure was to be made, but it basically said you have to show how this motor works.
Let them flywheels fly.
Yeah. Obviously, Keely's in a bit of a jam now.
Clearly.
Like he couldn't ignore the court order without risking contempt of court.
Thus incarceration.
But he also couldn't expose his own fraud. So in June of 1882, a committee appointed by the company's board reached an agreement that this guy named William Bokel was going to be instructed by Keely in the construction and operation of the inventions.
Okay, that's very fitting of that time.
Keely's got to teach Bokel how to do it.
We need somebody to know.
And that's the absolute most that Keely would agree to, just telling one guy.
Sure, but if you're still a business partner, that seems reasonable.
That seems reasonable. So at the annual stockholders meeting, December 13th, 1882, Bokel delivers his report on what he's learned after months of instruction. And so the report is like vague as all get out. And he described Keely's discovery as the fact that water in its natural state was capable of being, by vibratory motion, disintegrated so that its molecular structure was broken up, and that there was evolved from this process a permanent expansive gas or ether produced by mechanical action.
So like excitatory alchemy.
Yes. He said it would be improper to describe the specific mechanism used.
Yeah.
And he declared that Keely had discovered all that he claimed
Oh, he took his back.
He took his back.
He's shaking these water molecules so they don't exist no more.
If you did a close read of the report,
pure energy.
It says nothing.
Okay.
Like the report is just, it paraphrases what Keely already says.
It's like a corporate email.
In his own language, yeah. But there's no technical information that would let any other person replicate this or even go in and evaluate the process.
Yeah. He doesn't outline this is A goes to B goes to C.
Yeah. So the next year, this newspaper correspondent drops a bombshell. Bokel had not, in fact, been entrusted with the secrets of the motor at all, despite the report. Keely told Bokel he could explain everything in less than 2 hours after the engine was completed, and that he had not done so yet just because the engine was not yet complete. I'll explain it to you when the engine's done, but the engine's not done.
But sorry, it's not done.
And it's only going to take me 2 hours to explain this
and
hocus
Bokel
pocus.
was cool with it.
Yeah. And so he hadn't instructed Bokel on all the inner workings or let him even see it in action.
They picked a bad agent.
Yes. So by the summer of 1884, Keely's situation was precarious.
Now, do you think he kind of slipped him a 5 and hey, go tell them?
I'm sure of it.
Okay. So
and I think he also was
just dumb enough to believe him, but smart enough to kind of understand.
And I think that Keely had just a way to dance around people with scientific sounding language.
People love promise. Look at Sam Altman.
Yeah. Yeah. Whew. So Keely's reputation was starting to be in shambles.
Okay.
He had put off the machine too often. The stockholders are starting to turn off the money tap.
Totally.
No more funding. At a board meeting, March 1884, he's like, guess what, guys? The vibratory engine's finished.
Good news.
Yeah.
I got it
and
shaking.
He's like, so this is in March. He's like, I will demonstrate it on or before April 10th. April 10th came and went.
Okay.
No vibratory engine display. And so when in doubt, shift gears. Get a new gadget to sell to a new audience.
So the Zuckerberg model.
He stepped away. He stepped away from the engine and the motor company. He had a new invention.
What is it?
The vaporic gun. Vaporic gun.
Oh, he's going to do a gas gun.
Yeah. This was a weapon that he claimed was powered by the same etheric or vaporic force that drove his motor. And this time, he wasn't looking to the public for money.
No, of course not.
He went to the government instead.
Oh, nice. What year are we in? 1884, you said?
1884.
Okay.
So the Army, in this time period, early 1880s, they wanted new weapons technology.
That's what I was just wondering. Are we getting ready for a war? But not quite.
Not quite, but they're let's
on the horizon.
Why not?
We're going to be a strong power. We need vaporic guns.
We need these. So he figured if he could show government officials this crazy new gun, get them on board, it'd be great publicity for him.
Totally.
And maybe he'd get some of these sweet government contracts.
Being a defense contractor looks like a real good gig.
They make a whole lot of money.
And it's a low bar to convince these people, you know what we need.
You know what we need. And they're always just here,
lasers.
Throw money. Zaron, close your eyes.
Yes. My eyes are closed.
I want you to picture it. It's September 20th, 1884. You are sitting on bleachers under a warm autumn cloudless sky at the U.S. Army Proving Ground at Sandy Hook, New Jersey. Your wool uniform soaks up the sun, but you remain cool and calm. That's just who you are. You are Lieutenant Edmund L. Zielinski. All around you on the bleachers are other military higher-ups and weapons experts. You are a United States Army military engineer of considerable distinction. Your current project is developing a pneumatic dynamite gun for the Army's use. And today, you're waiting to observe a demonstration by some character named John Ernst Worrell Keely. He stands on the bare ground before you, prepping his presentation. He has with him 5 gallons of what he described as vaporic force contained in a receiver. His claim is that this quantity of stored force would be sufficient to fire a high-caliber weapon. He moves a large metal container and sets up what looks like a tiny cannon. The gun itself is a small weapon. The bore is just 1 1/4 inches, and connected to it is an iron wire tube, 3/16 of an inch in diameter, leading to an iron receiver 4.5 feet long containing the alleged vaporic force. You look at the setup and think to yourself that it looks an awful lot like an ordinary compressed air gun. not some revolutionary physics-defying superweapon. Keely loads the gun by ramming a small lead ball into the muzzle. He then taps the iron receiver with a hammer. He turns to the crowd and explains that this action was necessary to stimulate the vibratory force within it. Vibratory force, such nonsense, you think. Why, that hammer tap is nothing more than a piece of theater, you grumble. Keely then turns a handle. The ball is fired from the gun with a short, sharp report and minimal recoil. And notably, you see no powder smoke. He goes through the process and fires again. A man at a table with a clipboard full of papers scribbles notes and then announces a velocity of 482 feet per second. Keely fires the weapon again. This time, a target consisting of 3 spruce planks, each 3 inches thick. The ball penetrates the first plank and goes halfway through the second. Keely announces to the gathered group that he has used a pressure of 7,000 pounds per square inch for these demonstrations, and that he could employ 30,000 pounds per square inch if he wanted to. You are thoroughly familiar with the properties and behavior of compressed air as a propulsive force. You think the vaporic gun bears a suspicious and unmistakable resemblance to compressed air weapons with which you are already familiar. The speed, the lack of smoke and recoil, the use of a pressure vessel connected to a firing chamber by a tube, that's simple compressed air. There's nothing mysterious and certainly nothing new. You turn to the man sitting beside you, A.R. Eady, the president of the Keely Motor Company. You could replicate everything Keely had shown and go further, you tell him. He tells you he'll speak about it to Mr. Keely. No need for you to demonstrate. You huff. No wonder all you suckers are all going broke. So,
yes.
The day after the Sandy Hook demonstration,
yes.
Keely met with a reporter from the New York Times and declared that his experimenting days were over and that complete success was now close at hand. Like, I don't need to keep tinkering on this. I'm done.
Brazen.
He was like, that motor, remember the motor?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be done in less than 2 months. So he bumped it out, not the 2 weeks, 2 months.
2 months. 2 weeks, 2 months. It's going to be a 2.
Then I'm going to give a whole exhibition of its massive powers.
All my stuff, like Tony Stark over here.
Same old song and dance. So Lieutenant Zelinsky's interest in Keely didn't end at Sandy Hook.
Mm-hmm.
So November 1884, he attended, just like the next month, he attends a demonstration at Keely's workshop in Philadelphia.
I like it.
And during the show, Zelinsky saw this large reservoir that Keely showed to his guests, and so he made a suggestion. He thought that if Keely's generator truly produced force from water, as he claimed, then a complete and convincing test would be to discharge the reservoir entirely and then recharge it using the generator with Zelinsky watching. This was a closed cycle demonstration of if this is supposed to be an over unity device. This is exactly what would be able to prove it up.
Yeah, great exhibition of it.
Keely was like, big no.
Like, no, we can't do that.
And he was like, if recharging the reservoir is going to take 2 hours, who has 2 hours in their life?
Do you want to wait for 2 hours?
And like, even though he had been saying over and over that he could produce large quantities of force in a matter of seconds.
Yes.
So he also offered the explanation that the reservoir had been carefully negatized.
Oh.
A term that means nothing.
So he's like, instead of saying calibrated, he's like, it's been negatized,
so
which
that's
you
why
probably wouldn't understand.
I can't discharge it all right now.
With your pneumatic, whatever, dynamite gun.
So Keely, he's also in this demonstration, he says that he's achieved pressures of 50,000 pounds per square inch. And that it was so much that it broke all his pressure gauges.
I was going to say, yeah.
My
rivets.
Zelinsky's like, oh yeah, bet. He brought with him a calibrated pressure gauge that could register up to 10,000 pounds per square inch. He's like, here, use this.
Yeah.
Try and break it. And he knew, like, okay, we can disprove all this pressure stuff right here. If he declines, like, we're going to expose him. So Keely pauses, and he's like, for a second, he's like, oh my, you can tell. He's like, I don't know what to say. Then he comes up with this response that became one of the most quoted lines of his career. He told Zelinsky that he did not believe in pressure gauges anyway. It's just bogus.
I don't trust a ruler.
That's fake science.
You know, a scale?
So
scales will tell you anything.
So on June 6th, 1885, Keely stages another exhibition at the workshop.
Okay.
This time he's got 20 people, including newspaper reporters, a mechanical engineer, officers, stockholders from Keely Motors. For this one, he puts together this like crazy apparatus that was mostly just visually complex.
So really is steampunk stuff. There's like
So
a lot of
steampunk.
copper, a lot of coils,
Yes, a lot of
pumps
wires.
And,
So at the
things that go
centerpiece
boop, 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 boop.
is a globe fitted with all these apertures from which tubes ran to cylinders.
Naturally.
Yeah.
Gotta have a lot of
The globe
apertures.
was on top of a structure that also incorporated 2 large tuning forks
Okay.
and a latticed framework of rods and rings. Described by observers as looking like a big old bird cage. There were more tuning forks, more rings that contained steel wires projecting out of their centers, all these other weird...
These are like vibratory collectors.
Yes, all these attachments. The structural function of the bird cage was, as a New York Times reporter would later note, to attract the eye and the attention of observers toward the musical apparatus and away from the globe and cylinders, which were the components actually connected to the concealed power source. So he's like, don't look at this ugly old engine. Look
Yeah.
at this crazy steampunk
Look at this
Burning
structure,
Man
like
thing I
sculpture
made.
I've made that's total Burning Man ready.
Yeah. So when a reporter asked whether he could examine the contents of the globe, Keely was like, no,
Don't
your
you
vibes
dare.
are bad.
Yeah.
He's like, it'll take too long. I want to show this. Like, what are you trying to stall me here? Like
Sabotage. What are you doing here?
the Elon Musk of it all
Right?
is so out of control. So Keely started the demonstration by rubbing a greased violin bow across one of the tuning forks.
Okay.
And
That just to show the
Just like-
vibration. Like listen to
Yeah.
that. It's tuned. You can
Just
hear the
look at-
distribution of the vibes.
it just looks impressive. Then he made like little adjustments. He opened up a stopcock that was leading to one of the cylinders.
Okay.
And when he did that, the witnesses heard what was described as a hiss of escaping air. And then they're kind of like, huh? And he immediately talks. He's like, what you heard wasn't compressed air. That was etheric vapor. And it's a force without material nature, guys.
Don't get hung up.
It's whatever you do, don't believe that it's compressed air. And so the distinction he was drawing was between a real gas, which would have weight, chemical properties, behavior describable by physical laws, and then his alleged etheric vapor,
His free energy.
which had none of that.
Yeah.
Because he's saying it's pure force rather than matter.
It's pure energy. He's dissolved the chemical bonds,
Precisely.
the molecular structure. It's now just oscillating in and out of the ether.
Yes. And he's like, once I release this through the stopcock, it's going to go to these weights, which it did. And he's like, now they are at approximately 22,000 pounds per square inch of pressure, all at my disposal. And like, there are no pressure measurements because
No.
he was like, gauges are for suckers.
Yeah.
And so everyone's just like, oh, that's
Sure,
great.
that's fantastic.
And so the second part of the demonstration involved a rotating iron globe that was like suspended on this axle and connected by pulley and belting to a small bandsaw.
Okay.
And the globe is set in motion. The saw starts up. It cuts through several inches of planking. And so like non-scientists were like, that's crazy. That's pretty impressive.
That's it. It's an engine.
And but it
Or a motor.
had, but then the Times reporter noted there's like a big limitation here. So the period during which any actual work was performed, any sawing, including both the weightlifting and the sawing, was like 20 minutes in total. And that was within a session that took up 3.5 hours of setup, adjustment, explanation, fussing. But an ordinary small gas engine would have cut through that wood like butter in those 20 minutes.
Yeah, like Diesel's already shown them. You're
Right.
like, look here.
So, and 22,000 pounds per square inch should have been capable of way more mechanical output than cutting through a couple pieces of wood. So all the audience got was basically a spinning globe cutting a little piece of wood over less than half an hour scattered across a 3.5 hour performance.
I hope they got like refreshments.
I know. I hope so too. Okay, so I'm going to take a pause here. When we come back,
Time for our refreshments.
We're going to stick with this demonstration.
I got to see where this goes.
Zaron.
Elizabeth.
Okay, so we're back in the lab.
Yes.
We're in the workshop.
Dude, this is so smacking of our modern AI and whatever we are, Internet 3.0, 4.0. I don't even, I've lost track. But the whole Elon Musk, like, oh, welcome to also Zuckerberg's welcome to the metaverse. No, ignore the metaverse. Now it's about AI. You know, like, it's all these guys. Just keep it moving. Here's the new thing. Does it do anything anybody wants?
No.
Nobody was about to. Next week.
But it could if it wanted to. So we just saw the bandsaw that took forever.
And the weightlifting.
So we had that rotating globe. That's what Kelly was calling the engine.
Yeah.
It was like stopped and started a bunch of times during the demonstration. The Times reporter was like, it looks like the globe seems to operate on like a compressed material that's depleting. This isn't one of those, perpetual motion machines.
Totally.
He's like, how about you run this thing continuously for half an hour without interruption?
Don't touch it.
And don't attach the bandsaw or anything else to it. Just let it rotate. That'd be cool. And so the reporter's being clever.
Let me see it hum.
There's minimal friction. It requires little power to rotate. If the force was available, was as abundant as Keely said it was, then it should, there should be no problem.
It's free
spin
energy
that thing
pretty
for
much.
30 minutes,
Yeah.
30 hours. So the stockholders in the audience, they got a little worried about it. But Keely's like, okay, yeah, we'll do it. Well, I think they thought, well, if he doesn't agree, and then they put it in the paper.
I got you.
So the globe rotated for 12 minutes, a little over that. And kept consistently slowing. And then Keely reached out and stopped it before it petered out in front of everybody. Because, like, the power source was finite. It was probably compressed gas.
100%.
Like a genuine etheric vapor generator. If it produced force from water and air as claimed, would have only grown in capacity the way he had been trying to describe it.
He has like a balloon pushing like a radial mill,
Yes.
And it's just going and it's running out.
It's running out. Exactly. So the mechanical engineer who attended that demonstration made his opinion available to the reporter from the Times. He was straight up. He's like, this is a fraud.
Yes.
So his professional judgment, based on familiarity with machinery and pressure systems, matched what Lieutenant Zelensky had reached.
My man.
He was like, this is compressed air. It's so inconsistent with this force that he claims to have discovered.
This is literally hot air.
Stockholders and company officers, though, they loved the demonstration. They
Really?
applauded at the end.
Oh, my God.
I mean, they weren't stupid people. These are like businessmen, investors. They had put so much money into it. And
Deep
that's
sunken cost fallacy.
Yeah, that's what colored their need for it to succeed. So the applause was the applause of people for whom the alternative to being impressed was just like, I don't want to even think about that.
Yeah, well,
it's just too much.
And also, it's like the parents when like their child doesn't mess up the lines in the school play.
Yeah, you're like,
that was fantastic.
That was brilliant. I love the end of the New York Times article about this whole debacle. I'm going to read it to you.
Please.
Quote, before the party dispersed, there came in a reporter who, having fallen sick while the trials were in progress, had not been able to follow the drift of them. He applied to Keely to have the thing explained to him, and Keely answered, quote, it is an elaboration of interatomic ether by vibration. The atomic ether vibrates all around the molecules of matter. There is a magnetic force attached to it at the same time, and it assimilates with the molecular atomic aggregations. That is, assimilates with a certain attractive force that is hard to tell what it is. I call it a vibratory negative. It does not act like a magnet draws metal toward it. There's a certain magnetic effect about it that causes it to adhere by vibratory rotation to different forms of matter. That is the molecular, atomic, etheric, and etheric. The impulse is given by metallic impulses, the rotary power that is formed by ethereal vibration. That is the force that holds it in position. And the reporter went his way wondering.
Yes.
End quote.
That was so many words. He's basically saying it's 0-point energy, but ether, magnets.
It sounds so much like when Elon Musk BS's his way through an interview about space, or grok, or
why we should be on Mars and how he's going to get us there, or like how in the future economy it's going to be so abundant nobody's going to have to do anything ever again.
All the Mars stuff.
We're going to have
there's elements abundance. That he like with power and energy and like all these things in space that he doesn't take into account.
Oh, yeah.
So that's
like when he wanted to have the data centers like in space, you're like, well, what about the heat?
Yes.
You can't dissipate the heat. He's like, oh, no, you can. They can come up with a heat sink that will work on like, I'm like, and
then
ether?
He does this.
Is it going to be
It's in the ether. It's in the ether. So he's a con man of science, Keely.
Oh, him.
But he's about to get his, at least a little bit.
How so?
In 1888, a former business partner named Bennett Wilson sued him.
Oh.
He said that back in 1863, he fronted Keely's original efforts at making the signature vibe motor.
Okay.
And Keely was like, yeah, you know what? I'll cut you in. Keely had not.
Oh,
and so Wilson wanted the court to make Keely show all the parts and processes in the motor. So we're doing this again, like going to court, like show us how this works.
Does he have patents at this point?
No.
Oh, there's a danger.
He wants research, schematics, prove it all up that this is what Wilson was in on back in the day. He wants full disclosure. Keely stalled the inspection over and over and avoided it completely and then gets found in contempt of court.
Boom.
So he refused to disclose the principles underlying the machine. So they sent him to Moyamensing Prison in Philadelphia.
Got himself locked up.
Yeah. He was only there for a couple days because then Mrs. Bloomfield Moore, remember her?
She paid.
And then other supporters, they rallied to his defense. They sprung him out. There was also the problem that the court didn't have a clear mechanism to compel a man to explain a physical principle he claimed to understand only intuitively.
Oh, sure. But
so that was like...
Can you try writing it down?
Yeah, but you got to feel it.
It's the vibes, man.
It's vibes, man.
How do I write down an aura?
And Keely, he saw his imprisonment as like this martyrdom.
Oh, God.
And it was evidence that he is a visionary and he's being persecuted by those who have too small of a brain. You don't understand my genius.
I'm the future and you people are troglodytes.
Yes. So Bloomfield Moore, she's like, yes, he's a martyr. She looked for support. So she reached out to Thomas Edison and Nikola Tesla.
Oh, God. Both of them would hate this
they're like,
so much.
She's like, please come and examine his inventions. And both of them were like, we're going to pass.
Yeah, hard no.
No interest in
I
this.
want no association.
He's
I don't want
clown.
my name in a news story with him.
Yeah,
but that's more like,
I'm
Edison.
I'm busy. I'm
Tesla would have just been
something
furious.
else on my schedule. So if they couldn't get scientific support, at least they could try and get money. So Bloomfield Moore took Keely and went to New York.
You go like
and
George Westinghouse?
They met with none other than John Jacob Astor IV.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Get to a robber baron.
Ultimate wealthy scion of a major moneyed family. He was at one time the richest man in the world. And then he died in the sinking of the Titanic.
Oops.
Oopsie. But before that happened, he bought into the Keely Motor Company.
If I'm not mistaken, he actually did do a decent thing when he died on the Titanic, where he let other people go.
Yeah,
if I remember correctly, and he wanted to stay behind.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm not going to let it be said that an Astor took a spot of a woman or a child.
Yeah.
If I remember.
So, okay, props
don't
to
let
him.
me, slander
props
him.
To him. So he gets this new infusion of cash. There are all these phony demonstrations and pitches to follow. His supporters went to bat for him over and over and over, but they were growing weary. Even Bloomfield Moore, she got tired of the stalling and the refusals for inspection. She didn't cut him off, though. She just reduced his monthly stipend.
He was too tall to cut off.
I think so. Too big to fail.
I want it to work.
Yeah. So by the 1890s, he had pretty much abandoned the language of hydraulics and moved into a more explicitly mystical realm.
Oh, no.
He talked about, quote, sympathetic vibratory physics. And he described a theoretical universe of interconnected resonances that drew on Pythagorean harmonics,
oh, no.
Hindu mystical thought, and the writings of Theosophists.
Oh no, Madame Blavatsky. And then also the spiritualism, that's also in a backdrop right this time. So
this was on purpose because he found that the theosophical movement of the 1880s, 1890s, they were ready to accept the existence of hidden forces.
Oh, they loved that.
Unknown to conventional science.
Totally, they were big into that.
Yeah,
and they were early woo.
Right. So what is this theosophical movement? It was the Theosophical Society was founded in New York in 1875 by Helena Petrovna Blavatsky. a Russian-born occultist, mystic, and then as well, Henry Steele Olcott. He was an American lawyer and journalist. So their central claim was that beneath the surface of all the world's religious traditions was just a single universal ancient wisdom.
Yes.
Theosophists called it the, quote, perennial philosophy or the ancient wisdom tradition.
Yeah.
So Blavatsky argued that this hidden knowledge had been preserved across millennia by a brotherhood of advanced spiritual masters who she called Mahatmas or masters, and they all lived pretty much in Tibet. And she said that
they're in Shangri-La. Don't worry about it. It's cool.
She's like, I write directly to them.
I'm in touch with the masters.
They guide my writings. So a theosophy drew eclectically on Hinduism, Buddhism, Neoplatonism, Hermeticism, Kabbalah.
Some of the Rosicrucianism, some of the Eastern European traditions.
Basically Western esoteric.
Yeah.
So they blended all these together into a system that put forward the existence of hidden laws of nature, inaccessible to materialist science. And the spiritual evolution of the soul, all these reincarnations, a cosmic hierarchy.
Oprah would have loved that.
Oh my God. Yeah. I think maybe we should get in on it and sell her on it. Because that's a less poisonous Dr. Phil that we could be.
Neo-theosophy.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's bring it
let's
on
pitch
back.
So this spread huge in the 1880s, 1890s. And there was incredible membership, intellectuals, artists, seekers, people who were dissatisfied with Orthodox Christianity and then also the hard materialism of contemporary science.
You can still find it today. I have friends who have views that are adjacent or inspired by. I mean,
Well, it was where it took a foothold was in Ireland, and it shaped the mystical interests of W.B. Yeats, the poet,
not know that.
Winding
That's
Gyre,
wild.
and all that. Yeah. So Blavatsky herself, she expressed an interest in Keely's work.
Okay.
And her publications talked about his claims pretty sympathetically.
Sure.
Keely was seen as a man who had accessed hidden natural forces through this intuitive spiritual attunement instead of boring scientific method.
They loved it because he couldn't express it.
Yes. This totally worked for Keely because it made it out that he refused to submit to scientific investigation as a spiritual necessity. That's not fraud.
Yeah.
I need this.
I'm working on levels you can't.
I am protecting the vibes. So it all had to come to an end at some point. And that end was actually the end of John Ernst Worrell Keely.
Oh.
He died on November 18th, 1898 in Philadelphia. He was 61 years old.
He made the full run.
Yeah, pneumonia and then out. So he died without having produced a commercially operational machine. He died without having demonstrated his principles under conditions acceptable to independent scientific investigation.
Sure.
And he died having consumed tens of millions of dollars in investor funds over a quarter century of
lived
empty promises.
The huckster dream.
Yeah.
He never had to really, other than those few days where he was incarcerated, he never really had to pay up or face justice.
The reaction among his supporters was just grief. They were bereft. But in some cases,
lost a great man.
And they're like, you know what? The secrets died with him.
Of course.
And that's such a shame. Fear. But then among the skeptics, they're full of anticipation.
Let me at them notebooks.
Yeah. Within weeks of his death, the scientific and journalistic communities descended to see what he left behind.
The ancient James Randys.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. So the results were reported in detail in the Philadelphia Press newspaper. They sent investigators to examine the workshop at 1422 North 20th Street.
Okay.
What they found totally dismantled the entire edifice of all his claimed discoveries.
What was inside?
The building had this really super complex concealed hydraulic pressure system built into it.
Okay.
Under the floorboards, they found a system of tubes, not the internet, just another system of tubes, connected to a large sphere of compressed water or air buried in the basement.
Okay.
And those tubes ran through the walls and the floors to connect to all these various machines. They supplied the power that had driven all the demonstrations. It's just a huge air compressor under the house. The gauges that had registered all the huge pressures, they were connected to the concealed reservoir rather than any energy released by the machines themselves.
Oh, that's smart.
the globe motor that looked like it was spinning by the power of vibes.
Sure.
That contained a secret compartment that had a small motor in it that was also powered by compressed air.
Okay.
The iron sphere that he once said had restrained teams of horses, that was connected to the same network. Even he had this apparently spontaneous levitation of weights that he would do and bending of metal bars. They could trace that all to mechanical connections and, hidden stuff.
So he was still using the traditional heat, beat, and treat.
Yes. The investigators found false floors, hidden panels, pipes and valves all over the place. It's pretty ingenious.
It really is.
And he hadn't just pulled off like simple fraud.
It's like Wizard of Oz level of like,
yes,
look at my show.
He spent decades engineering one of the most elaborate deceptions in the history of American science.
Yeah.
Like the work that he had to put into that.
I mean, he was actually scientifically gifted just with very known commodities.
The precision, the sophistication. Like he had genuine mechanical ability and he wasn't ignorant.
No.
He just directed that mechanical ability toward deception rather than the solution of any like real physical problem.
Totally. He kept old things and made them new by putting them together.
The scale of the hidden infrastructure also made it clear that the fraud was 100% deliberate.
Yeah, intentional.
Rather than being like, oh, he has this delusion and he has to resort to trickery.
Totally.
Like, no, this is from the ground
up. Or
he
didn't really, it was intuition. He was working with a belief and it turned out to be wrong.
Yeah, and he wanted to make it right. No, this is from the get-go.
Very much.
None of the investors ever received any return on their investment, obviously, and there were no assets to the Keely Motor Company. Beyond the financial losses, the whole thing really damaged the culture of American speculative investment and scientific credibility at the time.
That's what I was going to say.
We do it now.
Well, no, but that's like how Tesla got screwed is guys like him.
So, the willingness of really smart and well-educated people to get duped by his charade became this cautionary tale for everyone. And it was cited in all these discussions about scientific fraud and the psychology of con artists.
Mark Twain used to be suckered by people like this. Yes, he was friends with Tesla, but he
want miracle and wonder.
Yeah. And you want something oscillating and shaking and doing all this stuff.
Well, and it illustrated for people of the era, and it should do the same for people now, like the trappings of technical complexity, like when it's deployed by a really skilled performer, you can disable critical thinking in folks who should know better.
Totally. Promise is blinding in that way.
Yes, yes. So, Zaron, what's your ridiculous takeaway?
I would have loved if, actually, I just mentioned Mark Twain, if he would have gotten a chance to see one of these exhibitions.
Oh, God.
And then gotten all excited about it, invested some of his money like he often did, lost it like he often did, and then wrote, after the guy passed, some scathing, his letters of his books about God and they were published posthumously where he just brought the heat, something like that, but just for this guy, like an Innocents Abroad level of mockery of hubris, but for this guy, I would have loved that just for the sake of Tesla, who I absolutely love as one of these figures at this time, who I get so mad how screwed he was either by short-sighted, greedy, or charlatans like him. What's yours, Elizabeth?
My takeaway is that we see this over and over of con artists or crimers who have a skill and have a talent and use it in the wrong way. We see it with forgers.
Totally.
Where they're like, you're a wonderful artist. Why? Why do you
come up with
paint your
something
own
to say?
stuff? And so here he spent all this time fitting an entire building and rather than, because I think that when you have the confidence, their confidence is false confidence, and they're gaining the confidence of others. They're building on something that exists, but it is such a terrible, terrifying risk to go out on your own and try something that may fail. So as a painter, you could paint it and no one sees what you see. You and I know it as writers that you write something that you really resonates with you and you put it out there. And if it hurts when people don't get it, or
crickets.
if it just falls, it fails. And so I can see I just think it's really interesting the amount of time that these people put into their cons.
Oh yeah. The amount of time he spent just shining the copper.
Yeah. The copper shining alone. With that said, Dave, if it's okay with you, I'd like a talk back.
I would be delighted.
Talkbacks. Oh my God, did he just say that?
OMG.
Hey Zaron, this is actually just for the lady host this time. This is Laura, and I need some TV recommendations from somebody who doesn't watch TV as much as I don't watch TV. I just got BritBox, and I really liked Ludwig and The Cleaner. So if you have any recommendations, lady host, I would love to hear them. Love you guys. Bye.
Totally fair enough.
I
Lady host?
gotcha. Okay, so BritBox, Shetland, if you haven't watched Shetland, I think it's like season 10 now. It's great. It's very contemplative and a little slow, as Zaron would say. But I love Shetland. And then moving out of that, you know what I'm really into right now is Paradise on Hulu. Great show. Season 2 is going on. And then the other thing that I watch on the regular right now, aside from the hit ABC show 911, but not 911 Nashville, because I couldn't make it through the first episode, is RuPaul's Drag Race. It's really good this season, and I'm all about Jane Don't. So anyway, those are my recommendations. There was also another one on BritBox recently, with the guy who was in Wire in the Blood, and you probably know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I think it was like a one-off. Check that one out too. It's super good.
I feel like you're speaking Latin to me.
My people know what I'm talking about. That's it for today. You can find us online at ridiculouscrime.com. We're also at Ridiculous Crime on both Blue Sky and Instagram. And we're on YouTube at Ridiculous Crime Pod. You can email us at ridiculouscrime@gmail.com. You may or may not get an answer, likely won't, but we still love you. Leave us a talkback on the iHeart app. I can also make other music recommendations, cookbook recommendations, or just maybe don't ever ask me these things because it's driving Zaron nuts. But iHeart app is free. Download it, leave us a talkback. Reach out. Ridiculous Crime is hosted by Elizabeth Dutton and Zaron Burnett. Produced and edited by Perpetual Motion Machine Dave Koustin. Starring Annalise Rutger as Judith. Research is by vibologist Marissa Brown and magic bandsaw peddler Jabari Davis. The theme song is by air compressor salesman Thomas Lee and mystified investor Travis Dutton. Post wardrobe is provided by Botany 500. Guest hair and makeup by Sparkleshot and Mr. Andre. Executive producers are hydro-pneumatic pulsating vacuo engine technician Ben Bolin and vibratory generator Noel Brown.
Ridiculous crime.
Say it one more time.
Ridiculous crime.
Ridiculous Crime is a production of iHeartRadio. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.